One of my guests is called Maria Brath. She is CEO of Brath AB. She has a BCS, that's Honor First Class in Mathematics. She's worked as a consultant for the distinguished SAP system. Customer service has always played a major role in her career. And she's here today because something that she's created with her company has caused quite a buzz in the industry internationally, because she has introduced the 6-hour working day, and that is the norm at her company, and we'll quiz her a bit about how that works, why they're doing it, and if it's possible for others to do it as well. So please give her a very warm welcome. Good to have you with us here. And you are not alone here on stage with me. No, we have a gentleman as well. His name is Ulrich Lewerenz. He's managing director at Book a Tiger. That is a Berlin startup, the first digital facility services company for private households and small to medium-sized enterprises. He is responsible for the business development and growth strategy of the company's international markets, and we're very happy to have him with us. Give him a warm welcome too. That would be very nice. Makes him feel good, wanted. All right, good to have you here. And of course, I mean, the light here is very bright, so if you do have an intervention, maybe we can, I'll get a couple of first questions over and done with, and then I would like to include you if you do want to join the conversation, in which case I would ask the lights to go up a bit so we can see you. Super, that's much better. Ulrich, let me start with you. I mean, Book a Tiger was founded, I think, in 2014.
That's correct. Yep.
That's correct, so it's fairly young still. And it started the business as a cleaner intermediary, so the cleaners were all self-employed.
Exactly.
And then in April this year, there was a change of heart. They're no longer self-employed, they are now fully employed. And I saw an article in German daily Handelsblatt. They wrote that Book a Tiger doesn't want to be the Uber of cleaning services anymore. Was that the driving force of your decision, or what was it?
Obviously not only, right? It's not that we try to distinguish it to another startup, but it's more that we concentrated on the internal things. And the question was about what do we offer to the client, right? What is the question and the problem we solve? The service which you're offering, cleaning, is in the very personal privacy of the customer. And this requires high stability, high security, high quality of the service provision. And we said in order to really deploy this kind of high security and high stability, we have to offer this also to our cleaning professionals. And this time, when these were still freelancers, you don't have kind of the direct order, the direct access to this process stability, to the quality, to the training of the workforce. And for us, it was just a logical consequence of having this high quality approach to the customer, to the service delivery, that we only can fulfill this by training our employees, by having process stability, by having this guaranteed security of the employees towards the customers. And then the logical consequence was employing those cleaners. And since ever then, we employ the cleaners in Germany, switched in the beginning of 2016, and have very good experience with this.
But that as a concept with fully employed cleaners isn't really that new. I mean, that exists, full employment. And you say that you can guarantee a high level of quality and security only that way. Does the customer, do the employees, the new employees, see it the same way?
I would say we could guarantee it also this way, and in the combination with the technology which we use, right? If you look at the customer group which we serve, which is private households, in the beginning, but also small offices and B2B customers. The demand is very granular. Yeah, that's one side, and the other side is that the employment force is quite demanding in terms of how to self-organize their own working schedule, how to be organized from their employers. What we actually did is that we tackled all these topics and issues related with employment in Germany, for example, for the cleaning industry, tackled this by technology, solved it by technology. And I think here we combined a very classical and historically old-fashioned industry like the cleaning industry with a digital modern way of working, right? It's a granular job assignment. It's a self-management where it's actually you have a smartphone app where you manage your own assignments, where you manage your vacations, where you manage the sickness, yeah? So it's highly technology driven, and on the other side is actually engaging and empowering the employee, because it's partly self-managed. Yeah? If you talk about when to go where, what are the wishes when you work, and we actually fulfill this. And what we say is that the high quality is guaranteed to the employment and the stability and security, but doing this successfully for a very granular demand, we do it via digitalization and technology.
Okay. Then, Maria, first of all, please once tell me your surname that I pronounce it correctly, because I'm not sure if I did pronounce it correctly.
Bråth.
Bråth.
Yes.
Maria.
Isn't that bread in
Bråth,
German?
yeah, it's like bread. It's like bread.
Yes.
I can that helps
Maria
me
bread.
a lot. And before I ask you, can I ask you, how many of you do have a 6-hour working day? Hands up. Okay. We have 2, 3, 4 in the room. 5, 6. Very shy. You weren't sure if it's 6 hours or more, huh? Okay. About 6 people. The rest of you, presumably more. Yeah. But all the employees at your company, they work under the policy of a 6-hour working day.
Yes.
Why 6? Why not 5? Why not 7?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What brought about the 6-hour working day?
That I'm not sure, but I think because this was decided by my brother who founded the company. I'm just tagging along. But there's been people have always talked about 6-hour work days. I've heard it since like I was little that's the way to move forward, which has only happened now. But I've been trying to say to other companies who've asked me about, they want to do it but they're afraid, and I'm like, well, try 7. Like, you don't have to do 6. There's no rules to this. So I think when it was decided, it was a thought of really how much can you work, but also have it efficiently, and 5 hours is starting to be a bit, then I don't think you can produce as much. 7 hours, maybe you then don't get the amount of rest that you need. So we tried 6 and it's working. So yeah, I think that was a good concept.
So in terms of advantages there for your company, so I presume you didn't start straight away the 6 hours.
Yeah, we did.
You
Yes.
did.
Yes.
So you can't really compare how productive your staff would have been with longer working hours or shorter. So you just have good experience with the 6-hour working day.
Well, we've all worked longer hours before, and my brother, who's decided this, he's worked in this business before.
Yeah.
And he's
What exactly
employed-
is your business about? What are you doing?
We work with search engine optimization and AdWords, so we make our customers be visible when someone looks for them on Google or for their services or products.
Okay, and they're happy with your company's 6-hour working?
I haven't heard
policy?
any complaints that our office hours are enough for them to keep in contact.
Okay.
So yeah, I haven't heard anything.
So they feel the job is being done,
Yes.
no complaints about that. Do you think that the 6-hour working day, or as you said, try 5, try 7, I mean, is this easily transferable to any kind of business, or is there are there specific cornerstones where you say there it works, but in others maybe not?
Yeah, I would say, like, for us it's working because we solve problems and we're very creative. So for us to do that efficiently, we tend to squeeze in 8 hours in our 6 hours, because we come to work rested, we work, and then we leave, and we've checked how much our competitors do, and we do as much. So for us it's fine. I've also found that, like, for me, I used to always wake up at 12 or 2 o'clock at night, and that's where I came like, oh, I should do this, or I need to remember this, and then I stayed awake for like 2-3 hours.
Does that count as part
This
of
was
the
before.
6-hour
No,
working?
no.
Okay.
But now the difference I see is that I come up with those solutions at 8 at night instead of 12. So before I fall asleep, because my brain has rested, and that's when I come up with solutions. So I come up with a solution, and then I can sleep, a whole night. So I rested when I come to work, I'm rested. But for other, I mean, if you have to be in the office, or if you have a work where you need to be there 24/7, you're going to need more staff in order to do this. But you can also see like the soft values, like how is your staff feeling? What kind of service do they do when they're there for 6 hours or 8 hours? If you have a happy staff, they will do a better job, and maybe that will still be beneficial for you. And I would think like maybe if in cleaning, I don't know how it works in Germany, but in Sweden you normally take, you pay for the hours that you clean. So if you ask, okay, I want my house clean, they say, oh, it's going to take 3 hours, so you pay for 3 hours, and then someone will be like, you left 15 minutes early, and there'll be a discussion. And for me, it's like, I don't care how many hours it takes.
Yeah, the job needs to be done.
I want the job done.
Yeah.
So if you can clean quick, like quote me for 3 hours, I don't care. Just say, it's going to cost you this amount of money. I'll say, oh, yes. And then if you can do it in 1 hour or 3 hours, I don't care. As long as I come home and it's clean. So I think in some areas of business, you need to think about how you charge for your services.
I mean, Ulrich, is this something, a 6-hour working day for your line of business?
I mean, obviously, our cleaning employees have very, very flexible schedules, right? We have cleaners who work less hours, cleaners who work average hours, and cleaners who work almost a full working week, equivalent to an FTE. So 6 hours, it's most probably above the average of the normal cleaning professional. It's actually interesting what you mentioned, that in Germany we are used to pay by hour. And for the cleaning industry, it holds true for 100%. Everybody asks how long does it take? And this is the main negotiation factor for customers. Whereas in the end, it's important if it is clean. And in the very first beginning, we had sometimes this discussion with customers that they said, okay, I want to have a cleaning for 2 hours, but basically it's a whole house. Yeah? It's a complete house to be cleaned, and then you're not able to fulfill the service. So actually, we had to convince the customers that the final result is the important thing, and that they have to value the service which we offer and which we deliver. And this is kind of valuable, and that they have to trust in our estimate how much time it takes. Yeah? Again, obviously, then it's a question of efficiency. So it's coming back to actually convince the customer that we are efficient and that the time which we propose are applied efficiently. This again is more easily with employees, obviously, than with freelancers, because then they are paid by hour. But in the end, it's, I think, a cultural question. There are other countries where you're paid by result, by cleaning the house, whereas especially in Germany, this industry is structured by paying by hour.
How would that be doable? I mean, this paying by results in your line of business rather than in paying by hours. It doesn't sound so impossible.
I mean, in the end, you as an employer, you as the service delivery, you have to be very, very smart how much time it in the end really takes, right? Because employees ask for a certain amount of hours, for a certain amount of salary in turn. Because
they know then they earn that much, because that is the system.
Or it's the system that they need the money, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they come to us and ask us, okay, I want to work for 20 hours per week. We say, that's no problem. Tell us your schedule, we're going to fill it, right? As soon as I give this promise to an employee, I cannot tell the customer, I only clean your home, I don't care how long it takes, yeah? Either it does not fit into the schedule of the employee because it's too long, or it's too few hours, then I cannot pay the employee, right? So matching this would be kind of being very, very intelligent. What kind of customer books, what kind of result, how many hours does it take, which employee I can send. Obviously, partly we're doing this when it comes to offices, because there we have to be very smart. For private households, it's rather easy because customers book hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't book a flat. Yeah? They don't book an apartment.
Now, because you said in the old days you would stay or suddenly wake up in the middle of the night, have this brilliant idea that keeps you awake, and now you have this brilliant idea at 8 in the evening, so before you go to sleep. With the 6-hour working day, it sort of implies that your staff, once it leaves the office is no longer working. But is this really the kind of world we live in now? Where you have all the home office, I mean, with smartphones, with everything. I mean, people are, especially in your line of business, search engine optimization, where you're really dealing with all this. How do you measure that? Do you measure it at all? How do you stop people then and say, hold on, don't you don't you think about it anymore? You know, leave your phone here. I don't know.
Well, if they want to do more hours, I'm not going to stop them. And of course, we also work extra hours. I would think that since we're living in the world we're living, of course we do I check my phone always, and I try not to. And I try to encourage, like I tell my staff, even if I send emails or if I do something, I don't expect them to answer. And I would, that it's really tricky because people need to switch off in order to be rested. And if I would see that one staff is working a lot, like more than they should be, then there's a problem and we need to find a solution. So then I will go and talk and I say, what are you doing? What fills your day and your week and why? And try to find ways to make them work more efficiently or find other tools or. And I think that's what you need to do, because people are used to, if you're used to working 8-hour days, you're used to a certain speed of how you're working. So we have from the start tried to find ways to work more efficiently, also let staff understand that they can work quicker, without it being stressful, and it's you just have to keep working, making them work the way like we have. For example, when we start the first month, I had one employee. Well, the people we were writing articles, and they wrote like 12 articles a month. Now they do 10 a day, and that's just a process. When they did 12 a month, they were like, "Oh, we're so stressed." And it's like, no, you're not really stressed, so let's keep pushing and pushing. And then when they do 15 one day, then they know, 10, that's easy, we can do 10. I will never push you to do 15, but I know if it has to, we can. But then that's stretching it, so then just take it, to do, but.
So you're saying that productivity actually sort of exploded with the 6-hour working day, that people are, when you say how many did they do? 15 in a week, and now they do 10 a day?
Yeah,
that
it's
is,
crazy, isn't it?
Exorbitant.
I think you have to, if you kind of push your employees and you also make them involved in the whole thing, and the atmosphere in our office is really, people come to work happy. And then when you do that, you do a better job, and you want to do more for the company because you feel that. I mean, 6-hour workday, that's just a symptom of us caring for our employees. So because we care, and this is just one of the reasons. There's a lot of things good with our company, but because we care, they care about the company. So they want to do more, and they're happy. They want to come and show me and say, like, I've done this. I'm like, perfect. And today I did 15 articles. Woo! And they'll say, I had a bad day. I did 7. I'm like, okay, that's fine. By the end of the month, we have to do this. So it's, yeah. I think, but that's not 6-hour workdays or 8-hour workdays. You should always try to make your company as lean as possible, and find where do you have your troubles, where do you have, what takes a long time, what takes a lot of effort, and then find a solution to make that better.
Ulrich, I mean, looking at the headline again, changing working conditions in the digital age by changing your business model this year from, as Handelsblatt says, no longer wanting to be the Uber of the cleaning services. Do you feel like you turned your back somewhat on the digital age and get more grounded in the traditional way, or how do you transfer the one into the new business model?
I would answer completely not. Yeah, I mean, as I shortly mentioned, right, all the issues, all the topics, all the challenges which we were facing by switching to employment, we solved only by technology. It's not that we took something over and changed into an old-fashioned, historic industry way to do it. If you have a look at facility management today, as far as we know, it's all paper-based. It's all big Excel spreadsheets. Where does anybody work at what place? Yeah? It's almost impossible to have this kind of granular supply which we offer to our granular demand. Having this training sections, having the quality level what we have on a very individual single base per cleaner, I doubt that this would be possible by just manual work and still facilitating a high degree of efficiency. Yeah? So what I say is that we actually implemented, we realize a very modern digital way of work by bringing this to a very classic or old-fashioned industry, which everybody uses. Yeah? So we don't invent the service itself, we just reinvent how it's managed, how it's provided, and how it ends up at the customer, yeah? And how actually the employees feel that they are valued. Because there was a point for Maria, what I wanted to pick up is that the employees value the structure, yeah? the kind of self-management. Employees want to know what they do and what they do it for, right? And this is one of the most positive feedback what we got from our cleaners is this new way how we actually enable them to self-manage the job, but also how we tell them when to work, what to do, how to do, makes their job more stress-free, yeah? Stress-less, because they don't have to care about anything else. They have their smartphone app, they can look where they have to go, they don't have to think about optimizing when, where, how to get there, they just do it. They can follow easy steps, and this is actually releasing them and freeing them from all the surrounding stress what they had before, finding new customers, finding the optimal route and whatsoever. And this is actually a positive feedback what we get and what the employees and the cleaners value and estimate of high advantage for them.
And how does the business model, this new business model of use now, how does it show in the bottom line?
You catch me.
Sorry.
Positive. Obviously, there are some challenges which employment brings. Obviously, we solve it technically. Obviously, you have a different cost base, yeah? Which at some places customers will notice in the price structures. But what we see is that customers value the consequences of employment. It's this higher stability, it's this higher security, it's a higher quality, and customers looking forward to it. Yeah? There's a second dimension what customers actually value, which is that we're tackling this societal challenge of employing, yeah? Of not doing another marketplace of freelancers, but solving a problem for the private household that they actually want to engage an employed cleaner. And this actually decreases the price sensitivity, and which this obviously then has a positive effect on the top and on the bottom line.
Right, I'm keeping my eyes open. Obviously, any kind of question that is related to working in the digital age that you think these two experts with their own companies could answer or help you along the way are welcome. But I still don't see hands up. So we just continue here. We have about 7 minutes left. So if something is coming up, then please make sure that I notice you so that you're not being overlooked. When you look at digitalization of the economy in a broader perspective, both from your sort of business models also, from the experience they have, where would you say are the biggest risks in changing your business model, in actually being part of this digital age, and where are the biggest opportunities, the benefits?
Well, I would say for us, what we work with is, well, if we didn't have digitalization, we wouldn't have a job. So for us, it's a matter of an opportunity, I would say, because if our customers can understand that they need to be seen on the internet, then they will come to us.
But you work in a highly competitive field. I mean, just because it's a digital world now and you are actually part of it with your business model doesn't mean that you automatically have the edge, because it is highly competitive.
Yes, but we have the experts. And I would say that our working hours is one of the reasons why we can attract the experts to us and keep them longer. Because in our business, there's not so many experts, and everyone wants to grab them and take them and run. And they will actually come to us. I have people applying for jobs every day. Even though we don't have any jobs available, they will come. So whenever I need someone, I can look through a long list of CVs and just find these. It's like what they've talked about earlier today. It's like my hardest job is to find the right staff and to keep them. And
are you using any of those tools that we were introduced today?
No, I'm just using my inbox with emails, and so I'm going to come to that eventually. We're quite young. We only started 2012, so. But I do every day answer, say thank you for applying. I will keep your information, and then I'll go through it. So there's all sorts of people who wants to work for us, and there's also experts, and because we then can get the experts, other experts wants to come and work also. And once you're used to 6-hour work days, it's gonna take more than money to get you to go and do something else.
Do you know if anybody else has followed your example already?
I've heard of 2 other companies.
Based where?
This is in Sweden. So I know one company I think started by maybe 1 year ago, and one that just started now. So, and I know that the government, they've tried to do this at a hospital or elderly home or something. So they tried it for maybe a year or so, and I think they've stopped it now. I don't know if it's working or.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you haven't heard of anyone copying that kind of model outside of Sweden. So maybe one of you will be the first to go back to their colleagues and say, listen, from January 1st, 2017, we will no longer have the 8-hour working week. We'll reduce it to 7, 6, 5, whatever you think is the best model for your line.
I think I was talking to, on a TV program, talking to an English company who wanted to try it and see. And the employees, they did not want it.
They didn't know what to do with themselves with the extra 2 hours.
No, they thought, I'm so stressed now, how am I going to do this in 6 hours? And the employer, he wanted to try it just for a week. And I said, you can't, you have...
For the same pay?
I think so, yes. That's the way we do it. But you can't just try this for a week. You have to try it for a year. You have to change people's mind. You have to change the way you work. You have to build this. So it's not like a try it and see if it works. Like if you do it like at least for a year and see what happens.
And Ulrich, with you, I mean, where would you say your company now, which is also a very competitive market, a lot of people are making use of that service nowadays, and you have a lot of providers, a lot of service providers in that field, and many of them stick to the model that you used to have by having self-employed cleaners working for them. So where would you say your company is positioned now in this market after the change of your business model?
On the first side, it's very easy. It's a unique position, right? It's a unique selling proposition, and we are not endangered in this position. Let's put it this way. Yeah? There are lots of advantages. I figured out: security, quality, stability, which we now can guarantee. We use technology to do so. Yeah? So other companies using employment, only doing it in a traditional way, will be slower, will fail on these granular things which I described, and on the management of the employees. And there has been those logical arguments why we decided in favor of employment. We are convinced and we see that this works and that customers value this. So for us, it's a perfect situation in a competition or in a competitive landscape. Yeah? Our customer environment, cleaner environment, and also here public environment actually exhibits and values what we do. They put high value to our decisions. They put high value to the service which we deliver. So I'm pretty confident that we did the right step, that we did the right change and the right decision. So pretty easy at this point, actually.
Pretty easy at this point.
Yeah.
Ulrich and Maria, I think you are also more than happy to maybe meet one or two people here in the room, maybe even more, who would like to discuss your business models on a one-on-one basis. Unless there is a hand flying up into the air right now, I have little hope that we will have a Q&A here in this room, but then again, maybe at the meeting point, basically for 5 or 10 minutes, however much time you have brought along. Not 6 hours. You're already working overtime, Maria. You've already been here for much, much longer. Okay, Maria Brath, Ulrich Lewerenz, thank you so much for being here and sharing your experience.
Thank you.